everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie. It is a good day to be alive and to be thankful. It's 2022 and I want to feature for you today 22 of my favorite plants. Now I have so many house plants, but it was hard, but I have narrowed it down to 22 of my favorite plants and I want to share those with you. So let's get into it. Now this one definitely had to make the cut. This is my Anthurium Clarinervium. So I'm going to rotate this one for you. Beautiful plant. Just look at the foliage. Absolutely beautiful. This one is getting a new leaf. So you can see the new leaf comes out looking a little bit brown. And then as it hardens and matures, it turns into this nice dark green with the lime green veins. Now the Anthurium Clarinervium, it likes to dry out between watering, so I make sure I do that. And the soil needs to be really chunky so it doesn't hold a lot of water, so it can dry out easily. So pretty easy care plant. I water this one probably once every 3 weeks. Plant making my list of 22 plants for 2022 is the Ficus Tineke. This one is just really stunning. Just look at the foliage right there. Absolutely beautiful. Another easy care plant that loves to dry out between waterings, but not too much. For this one, you can add a little bit more potting soil to the mix so it holds a little bit of water, but not too much. Another plant making the cut is the Cebu blue pothos. Beautiful plant with the elongated leaves. You can see the foliage on this one. I have this one in a hanging basket that's already trailing. It likes to dry out between watering, and I bottom water this one, so I allow it to soak up the water, and then once it does that, I allow it to dry out again. Now, bottom watering is how I got rid of fungus gnats. I had a real problem with fungus gnats, and you can check out my video on how I dealt with that problem. I have no problems with fungus gnats, and trust me, it was difficult to get rid of them, but bottom watering, that's our #1 solution for getting rid of fungus gnats. So the Cebu blue pothos, now you can easily locate this one in your big box stores. It's not as rare as it used to be. And so here is the Cebu blue pothos. Next on my list is the Hoya Australis Lisa. It is a pretty fast grower, I must say. And so excited to share that this one is also flowering, so I'll bring it a little bit closer. That's the flower right there on my Hoya Australis Lisa. Beautiful. Another easy care plant that loves to dry out between watering and must be put in a chunky soil mix so it doesn't hold a lot of water. Another beauty is the Manjula Pothos. So let me bring this one closer. Beautiful variegation on the Manjula. This one was a little bit difficult to locate, but now big box stores like Lowe's and Rona, they're carrying this one now from Costa Farms. Really beautiful. The Manjula Pothos. Again, this one loves to dry out between watering. And here is the lovely Philodendron Micans. I have this in a hanging basket. It's trailing all the way down to the floor. I do expose this one to bright light, and I allow the soil to dry out completely between watering, and then once it's dried out, I give it another soak, and it is just a very fast growing philodendron. It is also quite easily propagated in water. In addition, I have a Philodendron Micans that's on a trellis, and this one, when it climbs, the leaves get so much bigger. You can see, I can hold it here in my hand and you'll see, yes, the leaves get much bigger when it climbs, but it is really a beauty. Here is my golden pothos. Now, the golden pothos is a more common pothos plant, but I find that it just does so well in just about any space. The foliage is just striking, and I have my pothos on a moss bowl. Typically, you'll find them in hanging baskets, but I just absolutely love the golden pothos because it's just one of those plants that you won't have to spend too much time trying to take care of it because it just does well on its own. This is the second golden pothos I have climbing on a trellis. Lovely variegation. It's so nice. You just gotta have it twice. The second Hoya making my list is the Hoya Australis. This is the non-variegated Hoya Australis. I have this one climbing, and trust me, the Hoya Australis is such an easy care plant, and I find that most of my Hoyas, they prefer to dry out between watering, and they don't like to be exposed to direct sunlight. But the Hoya Australis, this one had to make the cut. A very fast grower, the Hoya Australis plant. Beautiful. Now, all these plants I'm sharing, it's in no particular order because it's really hard to say which one is my favorite because I just love all my plants. Now, Sansevieria plants are absolutely easy to take care of. I've been saying that so much. Now, here is the Sansevieria Moonshine. So I'm rotating for you to see all the growth in this spot. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plants, and it started out with actually 3, and it produced another 3 last season, so it is really doing well. And the Sansevieria plant, again, another one that you can water at least once a month. It doesn't need to be watered pretty often, especially in the winter months. You can water this like every 6 weeks and just allow the soil to dry out between watering. But the Sansevieria Moonshine absolutely had to make the cut for 2022. This is my Philodendron White Princess, and I'm going to bring it a little bit closer. Here, some new growth coming up. There's some pink on that new growth. But the Philodendron White Princess, it's I wouldn't say this is an easy care plant, but you have to make sure that it doesn't dry out between watering so much, so it can hold a little bit of moisture in the soil, but not too much, because you can get root rot if it is the soil is too soggy. So this one has another secondary plant that I didn't separate. I left it there, so it can grow much fuller. So the Philodendron White Princess, considered rare. It's not so easy to locate this. I find that the variegation on the White Princess is a little bit more stable than the variegation on the Pink Princess. Making the cut is the Scindapsus Exotica. The leaves have a silver tone on the leaves, and this one I have in water. Lovely roots there. I could actually put this one in soil, but I am planning to keep this one in water for as long as it can sustain itself. It is one that you usually see in a hanging basket, and some even allow this to climb up on a trellis. I don't think this is an easy care plant for me, right? I find that when I had it in soil, it struggled quite a bit, so that's why I'm deciding to keep this one in water. But the Scindapsus Exotica, it's one of those plants that you just have to try your hand and see how it works for you. But I absolutely love the foliage on this one, the Scindapsus Exotica. This one is my Monstera Thigh Constellation. You can see some variegation on the leaf. Absolutely needs to dry out between watering, and I find that this one is a little bit slower than the regular Monstera, but still another beautiful plant that is, I would say, easy care. This is a third Hoya that's making the cut. This one is the Hoya Pubicalyx, and this Hoya grows really fast. You can see I have this one climbing on the trellis, and as I mentioned before, all my Hoyas I allow them to dry out between watering, and this one is also very easily propagated. But I absolutely love the variegation on this one. Now, this is not the Hoya Pubicalyx splash, but it still has a lot of splash variegation. Beautiful Hoya Pubicalyx. Lovely. Do take a moment to subscribe to my channel. Your support is much appreciated. This is a classic and a little more common Monstera Deliciosa. This plant you will find quite easily in many big box stores. The young plant comes with plain leaves, a little bit oval shape, but once it matures, then you will start to see the splits. And this Monstera loves to dry out between watering. I water this one probably once per month. The classic Monstera Deliciosa, or the Swiss cheese plant. Beautiful. The Monstera Peru. Here is another beautiful Monstera plant, the Monstera Peru. Another one that I allow to dry out between watering, and it does pretty well. Monstera Peru. This beauty making the cut is the Magnificum Xanthosoma. This one doesn't like to dry out completely, so I make sure it has a little bit more of the regular potting soil in the mix, and so it can hold a little bit of moisture but not too much, right? Can't be too dry between waterings either. The stems have tiny little hairs on them, you can see that, right? And this one is just a showstopper. The beautiful Magnificum Xanthosoma. This is the Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma, or mini Monstera, that's another name for it. The leaves are pretty huge because I have this one climbing on a trellis. And this again used to be one of those plants that would be considered rare, but it's now easily located in just about any big box store. You'll go and see this. Most times it is in a hanging basket, but I have this one climbing on a trellis, and it is again another easy care plant. Dries out totally between waterings, and as I said, if you want to get your leaves to grow a little bit bigger, you put it on a trellis to climb. So, and also this one is very easily propagated, so the Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma. This beauty is the Monstera Adansonii. The Adansonii, it does well on a trellis or in a hanging basket. This one, the leaves are pretty big. I can compare with the size of my hand right here. Yes, that's a size, pretty big. But I absolutely love the Adansonii plant. And you can make sure that it dries out between watering, and you can expose it to bright light, indirect light, and you will find that this one can last a very long time. Although sometimes if you don't give it the right care, you'll notice that it gets brown edges or yellow leaves. But with good care, this plant will shine in your space. Making the cut is my neon pothos. This one likes to dry out between watering. When it trails, it's just an absolute beauty. So I have this in a hanging basket. It hasn't started trailing, but it really is a stunner. The neon pothos can tolerate bright light, but not direct sunlight. And if you give it the care it needs, you'll find that your pothos will last a pretty long time. I don't have many Calatheas in my collection because Calatheas are pretty difficult. They are the most beautiful plants, but absolutely so difficult to maintain over a long period. But I do have this Calathea Orbofolia. It has a few new leaves coming up. You can see there, 1, 2 new leaves coming up. And I have this one in a container that I got from my daughter for Christmas. It says, "Thank you for helping me grow." I have this one in a plastic dome that allows it to maintain the humidity, so the soil remains a little bit moist. It doesn't like to dry out. If it dries out completely, you start to get brown edges and then you lose the leaves. So I keep it in that dome, and so because of that, I only need to water this about once per month. And so I am trying my best to make sure that I keep this one. This is the only Calathea that I really make the effort to try to keep it happy. But the Calathea Orbofolia, just a beautiful addition, had to make the cut for 2022. Thank you for helping me grow. Beautiful. This is my lovely Philodendron Brazil. I have it growing on a trellis, and it has definitely outgrown its present trellis all the way to the top. Variegation is really beautiful. The Brazil likes to dry out between watering, and you can expose this one to bright but not direct sunlight. Another one, as I'm saying right throughout this video, another easy care plant. Just look at you grow. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm at my now. Another favorite making the cut is my ZZ Raven. Just a stunner of a plant. I had this one since it was in a 6-inch pot, and it has put on so much growth in the last 2 growing seasons. It only gives new growth in the winter time. So right now you can see a lot of growth points on this ZZ Raven. The lime green leaves you see, those represent the new growth, and once it matures it gets to this dark foliage, and it carries a natural shine. If I'm going to gift a plant to a first-time plant owner, I would give a ZZ plant or a ZZ Raven because it is so easy to take care of. I water my ZZ plant once per 6 weeks. Every 6 weeks I water this plant. And in the winter time, that's when you water less. In the summer months, I probably water once per month. but it has rhizomes, and so those rhizomes in the soil hold on to the water, so you don't need to water very often. This one is definitely prone to root rot if you overwater. Behind me there, that's the regular ZZ, and this one is a ZZ Raven. Had to make the cut. If I had to choose a top 10 plant, then this would definitely be one of my top 10 plants, the ZZ Raven. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching my top 22 for 2022. Closing off with this Anthurium Clarinervium, just an absolute favorite of mine. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate the support of all my subscribers, and just for all the positive vibes that I'm getting from the plant community and everyone else who supports me on this channel. So have a good rest of your day. Remember again to take care of yourself. You are indeed number one. 2020, 2021, those were difficult years for many of us struggling through the pandemic, but I am grateful to be alive, and it's a good thing to be thankful just for life itself. So take care of yourself. You are number one, and I will definitely see you in the next one. Bye.